and welcome to Rose Red Homestead. And I know some of you are going to comment on my hair. So my hair is very naturally curly and I usually straighten it, but this morning I didn't have time to straighten it. Jim really likes it this way. He says that this is what he remembers that I looked like when we met, and so he thought it was pretty cool. So I might be wearing it curly for a little while. In any case, what we are going to do today is to talk about self-reliance and particularly food security and emergency preparedness. We are just back from our weekend up north, witnessing my son's graduation and staying with John and Cindy for a couple of days. And if you watched the most recent video, you will know that John and Cindy and Jim and I, we had a great shopping trip to Costco where we filled our bucket list for the month of May. And so we now have all of this stuff, plus Jim and I cheated a little bit. We stopped and got extra stuff because it's so cool being up there with stores that have better prices that we got other things too, and we're going to show you how we're going to integrate everything. It can be confusing when you bring new food in that you want to integrate with your food storage. How do you do that? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, for the first time ever, I have some chocolate chips.
Turn it over. It's upside down.
Jim hates it when I don't hold things right side up. So here they are, right side up. And I am just going to put the date on this. May 22. This is our first bag of chocolate chips. If you heard Cindy, she claimed that they have 17 packages of these. Well, I checked, and she does. And so I'm just going to put ours right here in this little keeper. And because our food storage area is out in our garage, where it sometimes gets in the 90s in the summertime, we're not going to put these out there. In fact, I'm going to ask Jim to hide them somewhere in the house, because if I know where they are, I will eat them. And I don't want to do that because I'm trying really hard again to lose weight. So I'm going to ask him to just put these someplace in the house where it will stay cool and they will stay unmelted. So that's what we're going to do with this. This is our box of 8 pear halves. Again, I'm going to date it. This is the date where we purchased it. We have a stack of these little boxes that come from Costco. I really do love how things are packaged in units at Costco. Not everything, but some things. And so this will just go out in our food storage right with all of the other boxes. And because I have dates on them, we know to rotate the oldest ones first, and so that will help in rotation. Here is our canola oil. We will not store this on a top shelf. I'm going to put the date right here on the lid. We put this on the bottom shelf close to the floor, just to help with earthquake proofing in case we do get, we're way overdue for an earthquake, and in case we do get an earthquake, it won't splatter and spill down from the top shelf and make a huge mess. So this will just go right out there with our other fats that we have out there. And we'll just integrate them by date. We'll put these all the way to the back and then bring forward the ones that are the oldest. I am so thrilled with this pasta. I don't have any tricolor pasta out there, so this will be great. I don't have any shells. I don't have any bow ties. So I'm just going to put the date on the top of this one. And then when we finally open this outer package, then I will use this date and put on every one of the individual packages. But in earthquake proofing, this can go on the very top shelf, because if this falls to the floor, it's not going to shatter anything and it's not going to spill and break. And so we keep our pasta on the top shelf out there, and we have some. We're still building up some. I was really tickled to get this. And this was one that we didn't show on the video because we got it at, what was that other place where we went, Jim?
Winco.
Yeah, we went to Winco. Oh, Jim got a new bucket opening handle, so we'll put that in here. But one of our viewers clued me to the fact that my yeast was on sale at some of these stores, and I looked at Winco, and sure enough, it was on sale there for a lot cheaper than I can get it through Amazon. So I bought 4 of these, and I'm going to date all 4 as to the purchase date. And then these are going to go in the freezer. That's our meat choice for the month of May. This is pink salmon. And again, I'm just going to put the purchase date on the plastic. Once we break through this plastic and start using the jars, this says to use by July 2025. So that still gives us 3 years. It's going to be a wonderful shelf life for these. So this tells me when I bought it, and we will put this to the back of a lineup of other meats that we have. I have some home canned salmon out there, and we also have some other meats that are shrink wrapped like this one is, which makes it so easy to store. So this will also go out there, and we'll just move it to the very back and push everything up forward and use the older ones first. I was thrilled to get this. This is real vanilla. It's not imitation. So there's the date. This one will stay in the house, in the pantry. I'm not going to put this one out in the garage where the heat could get to it. And we have other bottles of vitamin C. And we have a cabinet in the house where we keep our over-the-counter things like supplements and vitamins and first aid things. And so this one will go in the house. Again, we'll line it up with the others. It will go to the back because it is the newest. For our veggie this month, Jim picked out this 4-bean salad. I thought that was so great. And so I will date these both right now. And these will go out with our canned and jarred goods where I keep the vegetables out in the food storage. And this will be a nice treat to have out there once in a while, to have something that is just a little bit different. And we actually might get some more of these. The more I thought about this, the greater I thought that this idea was. One of the fantastic finds that we made at Winco was some of my very favorite flour. This is King Arthur. It is all-purpose unbleached flour. And this is what I use for bread. And I have shown this before on other videos, but I'm going to show it again. We pack these in square buckets. And I put them in... Wait a minute, Jim, how do I do this? Oh, like this?
On the sides.
Yeah, okay.
It's just not going to fit otherwise.
No. We use these square buckets because they are the perfect size to allow us to pack 4 in a bucket. Perfectly, just perfectly. But before we put them in here, because they are full of air, I don't know if you saw that, but when I squeezed on it, flour shot out. So this paper wrapper is really great for food storage because I can use our vacuum sealer, and I have a roll of these vacuum sealing bag materials. Then I cut it to size. I've already sealed the bottom. So the next thing that I do is just put the whole bag. And flour is usually good for about a year, but when I package it like this, I have used it after 2 and 3 years, and it's really good. And so it fits in this little bag, and then I seal it, but I vacuum seal it. So it sucks the air out of not just the bag, but also out of the flour bag. And right now, this is very squishy, as you can see, but when I get finished with this, it will be just as hard as a rock, and it will have pulled the air out of the flour bag as well. So I'm going to try to do this upside down here. So it's pulling the bag in. And now it's working on the flour bag itself. And it is all sealed up and very hard. And so that extra vacuum sealing, pulling the air out, gives less opportunity for oxygen to get at that flour, and we keep it in these opaque barrels. And these have gaskets on the inside, and so it's fairly airtight. And then once again, I'm going to label what this is. So there's the label on that barrel, and that will go out where we have our whole stacks of these square buckets. And again, it goes in the lineup. And these will go on the bottom with the older ones on the top that we will use first. We got, of course, a big package of toilet paper. I don't date the toilet paper. We have a place out in the garage. These are baby wipes. Fragrance-free, and they are very, very convenient to have in the bathroom. We already have some of these, but if our toilet paper doesn't last us for the full time that the grid goes down, we have these baby wipes that we will be able to supplement with. Last on our list that we got is we stopped at 2 stores. We got a couple of bags of basmati rice, 10-pound bags at Winco, and then we got this basmati rice at Costco, and we showed that on the video. Now, I just wanted to share with you the coolest thing that happened. When we attended my son's graduation, Jim and I were walking along the sidewalk, and someone in another group looked over and came running over, and she said, "Are you Rose Red?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Well, can I take a selfie with you? I'm such a big fan." That was so much fun. So of course, she took her selfie, and her one other person in their group, family member most likely, was one of my son's classmates, graduated the same with my son. And then on our way out of town, we stopped at Winco again, and I picked up some 2-gallon buckets. And the cashier that we checked out also asked me, "Aren't you Rose Red? Don't the two of you do Rose Red?" And I said yes, and she was so sweet and so wonderful, so complimentary. And so the word is really getting out there. People are sharing what we are doing, and I'm so grateful for that, because this is really important information. Now, the way that we're going to store this rice is actually an experiment for me. I have not stored things in 2-gallon buckets yet. We usually go 5-gallon buckets, but those 5-gallon buckets are quite heavy with things like rice or wheat in them. And because Jim and I, of course, are getting older, like all of us are getting older, this size of a bucket is going to be much easier for us to manage. So I am just going to write on the outside of this, before I put the rice in, basmati rice, B-A-S.
M-A-T.
Thank you, honey.
I.
Thank you. I got it.
And then rice, R-I-C-E.
Could you spell that again?
Yeah,
I'm not
R-I-C-E.
sure I got it.
So it's B-A-S-M-A-T-I. Rice.
Okay, got it.
That's the correct spelling.
Thank you. My professor, my live-in professor here. Now, because we have had problems with rice before, especially rice that we have purchased from Costco, I am going to ensure that the bugs don't get a chance to grow and multiply in this bucket. And so I have some oxygen absorbers. These are 300 cc oxygen absorbers, and I usually use about 300 cc's for a gallon, so I'm going to put 2 in. And I'm just going to drop, here they are right here, I'm just going to drop 2 right in the bottom. And then stuff this right in. This is 10 pounds. So that, it looks really clean, which is good. So I'm going to put a regular lid on, and these again have the gasket in here. Jim, do you have We really want that lid to engage. Now that oxygen absorber will pull all of the oxygen out. It will prevent bugs from breathing because bugs need oxygen too. So just this little bit of prevention right here, this preserving the rice in this way, we'll have this rice for 10 or 15 years if we don't use it first. We go through rice pretty fast. And it's going to work perfectly. So this is 40 pounds of rice distributed between 3 2-gallon buckets. Now on this one, because it has a little bit less in it, I am going to put this is a
Gamma lid.
Thank you. This is a Gamma lid.
Yeah, take it off first. Okay, you're on.
All right, so that was a little tricky to put on, but it worked. And now when I screw the lid on, it's going to be airtight. And the Gamma lid is on this one because I'm going to keep it in the house. And this allows me to get in and out of it without having to pull this type of a lid off every time I want to get in it. Now, there's oxygen absorbers in there, so I'm not going to touch this for about a week, at least a week, and just let all of the oxygen be pulled out of there, kill any bugs, eggs, anything that might be in there. And then once I open it up and start using it, I don't ever re-vacuum it. I don't ever put oxygen absorbers in it. It's not necessary. One cycle through of killing everything will work just fine. So now I'm going to seal this one. And here we have it. I'm so excited to have this 40 pounds of basmati rice. This will be wonderful. We have other rice, but we don't have any basmati, and I've not been able to find any in bulk around here. So we were thrilled to find this up in Salt Lake. So this is it. This is how you work in new food into your current food storage. So I hope this was useful for you. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we especially appreciate it when you share with others and get the word out to anyone who is looking to be prepared for uncertain times. So thanks for being with us, and we will see you at our next video.